Hello, my name is Richard, if I'm in trouble, Rip Yeagerman, Common Sense Rip. And for the last few months, I've been struggling with trying to figure out my focus. And what I mean by my focus is lots of my mentors, lots of people I speak with always talk about having a razor sharp focus of what you want to do so that you know what you want to accomplish. And I've got a couple things going on. I want to share them with you. I'm also looking for help, looking for guidance, mentors to mentor me as well as me to mentor others. I have a lot of information I've learned in the last 10, 12, 15 years that I'd love to share. And this is kind of why I'm doing this at this point. The big, I call it the circus, the big top has three kind of smaller rings inside, if you will, and the big top is under the name of common sense. And I call it common sense because most of the people that become involved with me really just come to the point of multiple times of saying, it's just common sense. I said, yeah. Mark Twain had said, common sense isn't so common. So the three rings I wanted to talk about is kind of a primary. I had given up a career, 30-year career that probably should have ended 20 years earlier. I think at the 10, 12, 14-year point, I should have let things go. But it's one of my character traits that I don't like change, so I'll hold on to things that are safe and secure rather than let them go. And even to this point, a lot of people have said I was crazy for doing what I'm doing, but then again, most of my life, people have always told me that I'm crazy for doing what I'm doing. But I truly love what I do now, and I'm trying to, I've been told, swim up tide because of the way things have been done by the norm. Is I'm completely going against the grain of what people think to be right. And if you allow me to do numbers, because I'm a numbers guy, they just make sense, common sense. So the first level of, say, the three things that I have going on, the three little rings inside the big ring, the first thing I do is debt elimination. And I struggle with that term because I know it's what that's taught in society for us to learn and to know, but will we ever be debt-free? Will we ever not have rent or mortgage to pay? Will we not ever have car payments to make, or gas, or insurance, or groceries, electric bill, a phone bill, an internet or TV bill, land and school taxes? I mean, even if your home is paid for, I mean, if you have a home, even if it's considered paid for, most people know that if you don't pay your taxes for a few years, your home goes up for auction. I don't think that means you own your home at any point. So I like to say, instead of striving to be debt-free, because I don't think I think that's what the society has placed on us to understand or to think or to strive for a goal, and I don't think it would ever be true because you won't ever truly be debt-free. So I propose that we strive to, let's call it, buy our debt back. And a lot of people have, I get a lot of strange looks anyway from people, but a lot of people look at me when you buy your debt back. What does it even mean, or how do you even do that? So I want to try to explain to be in debt to ourselves is where we really want to be. President John Adams said there's two ways to conquer and enslave a country. One is by the sword, but the other is by debt. And if you go back to even to Egypt times and understand that the people that self-enslaved themselves because they had no money to pay for anything, the only thing left to pay that they had to pay with was their freedom. So they enslaved themselves, their whole families, right, just for food and to be able to survive. And do you see some correspondence with what's going on in our country right now? So I believe that we need to be in debt to ourselves. We need to buy our debt back and bring our debt back around to where we own our own debt. We own ourselves. And and the tough concept with people now is to understand, and even with our society, our children today, is to understand that if you can't afford something, you don't buy it. And that's so hard because our society keeps teaching us that that's not the norm. Oh, right, buy now, pay later. It's not conducive to a healthy, a healthy society to have that kind of mindset. So what if we could create, and let's say something like a grocery reserve that would keep up with inflation? So I remember years ago going to grocery shopping with my beautiful wife and my two beautiful children, and I always loved going to the grocery store because it was time for us all to be together. And well, we were that family with the two carts, right? And of course, we had two children, so they each liked to push a cart, but we invariably filled up those two carts. Well, I remember back then, if you hit a couple $100, right, $100 a cart, that was huge. And now, my wife and I joke at each other to see if we've spent $300 or $400 at the grocery store and we can carry all our groceries in one trip. That's I'm laughing, but that's really kind of sad because that should wake us up for what's going on with inflation and what's happening in our country. So if we could create a reserve that would keep up with inflation so that we could use the same money over and over again to buy our groceries, and yet that money, that reserve kept growing. So as groceries became more and more expensive, we've inflation-proofed ourselves that way. So a lot of questions that I get come from, well, then how do you start? I mean, if you're obviously in a hole, well, first thing is you stop digging. The second thing is that you got to spend less than you make. You got to have some discretionary income, even if it's $1. I mean, even if you're close. I mean, just to bring that awareness for where we should be for if you have discretionary income. So do you know if you have discretionary income? Now, if not, I have forms that are available that I put together that make it very simple. I understand it's going to take some time. You got to dig out your numbers and stuff and put them all down. But I've had so many people only just go to the forums and find out, you know, if you're spending more than you're making or if you have some money left over. And from there, if you want to move forward, of course, we can move forward. But if not, I'm just happy just bringing you to that kind of information. So what if there was a way to figure out an exact action plan for your specific financial situation to get all your contractual debts paid off in the fastest time possible? You know, would you want to know about that? They're just numbers. And years ago, when I went out on and I tell my story from coming into the office and finding my beautiful wife crying over the checkbook that we don't have enough money to pay all our bills. And, you know, I took the checkbook thinking that I could pay the bills. I would pay even sometimes less than minimums to make sure all the bills got paid. But that kind of frustrated us because we knew that while it was creating a little bit of reserve in our checkbook, we'd never get our bills paid off at that rate. You know, my wife was putting extra toward the bills to pay them off faster, but we would run out of money. So who was right? So if there was a financial program that would just figure this out for us, and I figured at this day and age there had to be, and I went out and looked for that. And that's all the information I kind of want to share with people, is that there's a simple, easy to use, step-by-step process that we can get together with that will help you gain control of your finances. You know, that's just kind of on the debt elimination, the debt control, just to be on top of that type of issue. You know, for those that are looking for something like that. And I'm looking for people that want that want to get that control, that want to take action. You know, I deal with so many people that, you know, you want to get out of debt, you want to be debt free. But you know, when it comes time to roll up your sleeves and do the work, they don't want to. The analogy I use is, you know, want to get in shape. Yeah, I really want to get in shape, but tomorrow I stop in to pick you up to go down to work out, and it's no, I don't really feel like going. So those are the type of people I'm looking for at this point that are serious about getting control of their finances and understanding common sense strategies what to do. The second ring in my circus, if you will, is wealth accumulation. And that's a huge load, I know right there, because there are so many opinions about what to do. But the first point in moving toward wealth accumulation is obviously common sense would dictate is that you have to have discretionary income. You have to be making a little bit more than you're spending. And if you are, then where do you hold your extra money, right? I mean, if you've got some extra money coming in, where do you put it? Where is it being held? And the variety of just banks, even just in a savings account, they go from, what is it, 0.001 to 2.2% interest that they're paying you. Just those differences there are so different in where people want to hold their money. But then if there's something even better than that, would you want to know about it? And once again, those are the people that I'm looking to work with that will understand what's the smartest thing to do with your money, right? Should you pay down debt? Should you make extra mortgage payments? Should you invest it? And by investing, what does investing mean to you? Is that putting it in the market? Is that 401ks or IRAs? Right? Do you want it taxed? Do you want that money taxed at a higher rate, or do you want it taxed at a lower rate? Do you like risk? Right? Should you refinance your home? Should you take out a consolidation loan? Do you like risk? Do you like to have your money at risk? Do you want full control, liquidity, and access and use to your money? These are, I know, a pile of questions, but this is what common sense, this is what I and common sense and the people that have come to common sense have perfected as far as for understanding these different ways to control your money and not give up the use and access and control of your money to another entity. There were so many opinions that come forward when you talk about what to do with your money. Story from years ago, I after 2 years of college, had a trust fund that was set up, and rather than finish using the rest of that money in a trust fund, I had kind of had it with me as I met my beautiful wife, and we were planning our future. That money, through a friend of a friend, you know how it all works. And at that point, I remember E.F. Hutton, I'm probably showing my age, Payne Weber, at that point was, you're supposed to invest your money. So I did what everyone's supposed to do, and it didn't really feel right, but I did, and I went along. Short story out of that is, if you've heard of E.F. Hutton or Payne Weber, they're gone along with all my money. It was a horrendous, horrendous situation, but I want to take it as a learning point for me that I would never put my money at risk. I don't ever want anyone else's money to be at risk that I work with, unless you like that type of risk. And if you do, then I'm probably not the one to be talking with. And the third ring in my circus is residual income. And I wish I wish at 13, 14 years old, I knew about residual income and about the capability of being able to make residual income. I was doing newspaper routes back then. I was mowing the lawns, I was trading my time for money. If I knew that I could actually leverage my time to make more money, I think that's a different path that I would have gone at that point. But I'm grateful for exactly the way my life is laid out and everything I've learned. Traditional businesses, we step on each other, right? Don't we? Don't we compete with the other guy to outdo them, to be better than them, so that we can get that promotion and step up, step over? It's horrifying to me the things that people will accept as being proper and the way to be done, and yet when there's something else that lies a different way, through residual income, through network marketing, through multi-level marketing, those people have a love and respect for each other. Those people all work together as a team to lift everyone up, not to step over people. And that just totally amazes me in that realm, in that type of arena of people, that's where I love being. Those are the people I love being. And that's even the point with common sense, is together we can rise everyone up. We can raise everyone up. A rising tide raises all ships. And that's kind of my take on common sense, what's been going on with me, and what I'm about to launch, a couple of big things to come out that I'm putting in place. I would love some help. If you have questions or want to find out more information about what's going on, I would love to have conversations with you. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a great night. Bye now.